Wait. What do you want? Here. No, roll over.
Welcome, everybody. If this live is actually active and going, you're gonna be able to hear everybody else in the background. Everybody else is here, everybody else is queer, so everybody else has to get used to it.
Are you talking right now?
Why
do you always gotta do it when I look crazy?
Because you always have to look crazy. I don't know what to tell you. Your success isn't based on whether or not I do shit. So, love you. Anywho's, now we're just gonna make sure that everything's working properly.
Delete that. You're not putting that up there. Delete it.
It's too late.
No, it's not. You can do a redo. Do it again. Wait until I am out of the picture.
For the people that don't know, she doesn't like to be in frame, but...
Are you seriously right now?
Yeah.
You seriously can't wait?
No, I have the energy. I have the thought process going. I might as well go ahead and get with this until the energy dies off. And once the energy dies off, that's it. I can't make this video. I'll be able to make this video again, but I won't have the same outcome to it. It's okay. You don't have to stand me. You can sit down.
I'm in the middle of saying that.
It's okay. So the whole purpose of this is to continue on with day 2. Continue on with day 2 of day trading topic. Day 2. His version. Day 2. So during day 2, we're gonna go over candlesticks, and we're also gonna go over highs and lows. Prior to, we also did highs, lows, and pretty much gave you guys a quick sneak peek of what is and what can be entirely. And pretty much edged you guys with the sauce. So today we're just going to break it down into finer details and just stick with 2 concepts first and not have this video be all that long. Candlesticks and highs and lows in the market are very important. We need to understand what the market is trying to tell us, because at the end of the day, if you guys have been paying attention to day 1 or been paying attention period, but you guys would have been able to remember that the market is trying to the market has its own language. It is our job as traders to understand that language and speak to the market when the market is speaking to us. How do we do that? Well, we need to understand the basics of the language. We start by understanding what highs and lows are. After that, we could go on to understanding what trends are, because trends are like, I'd say, the heartbeat of the market, where that did not sit properly. I am so sorry. I'd say the trend is the heartbeat of the market, where the money that flows is the bloodline of it. The heartbeat is, the heartbeat is the trend line. The bloodline is the money flowing through it via institution, banks, or hedge funders, however you want to put it, or retail traders like us. in order to tell what a candlestick is, we actually have to go to the chart. So let's do that. I need to probably bring that up for you guys. Yeah. Always have to do that, apparently. Alright, as you can see here, clear as day, wouldn't be able to go ahead and tell me, you necessarily wouldn't be able to tell me what the language is, what the market is speaking to you right here, right now. If you were to look at it right like this, all that you could tell me is the market's going up, market's going down, the market's going up, and market's going down. Which is right for the context of trends, but we're talking about candlesticks and highs and lows. Candlesticks are nothing but emotions. So I have several ways of explaining this that might make sense to people. The best way that I can explain this to a 5-year-old, not saying that you guys are 5-year-olds, but it would be easy. If I could dumb it down to a 5-year-old level to explain it to a 5-year-old and have them explain it, like understand it and then explain it back to me, I think I could do the exact same thing with a fucking grown-up that has more of a brain capability and potential to actually comprehend shit. So hopefully, I mean, if not and you're on the spectrum, welcome. We fucking members here. We got hot tubs, we have jacuzzis, you know. Anyways, candles, the first way that I like to explain candlesticks is there's a language having to be told between buyers and sellers. At any which moment, one side would hold more authority in the conversation than the other. It doesn't matter at which point where it's going. Our job is to determine which side, when market opens, our job is to determine which side holds more authority in that conversation, so that way we can lean towards more of their bias and flow with them in the conversation, versus being on the opposite side of the conversation and just being completely fucked by all the details and facts that the other side is presenting. That is ultimately what we are trying to do. But in order to be able to understand that language, we need to understand that there isn't just that happening. It's just that there isn't just a basic battle between one another. There is more things happening within itself, but I'm trying to not get too carried away and stay focused and stick to the topic. Sticking to the topic is, yet again, there's just, to keep it simple, there's just a conversation to be had between both sides. The other way that I like to explain it is there's a battle to be had between both sides. And on any given fight, you don't want to be on the losing end of it. Unless you like to get your ass beat, then toodle to you, motherfucker. That's you. But me personally, I like to be on the winning end of the fight and do my best to stay on that winning side. So again, our jobs as traders is to determine which side, when market opens, which side holds more power in the fight to be able to lead into the village raw instead of going back into the village and have our asses look like shit after getting beat to hell. That's ultimately like the best way that I can explain candlesticks. Now, when we want to go ahead, or the language. Now, when we want to go ahead and go dive deeper into what candlesticks are, I really don't want to do this because I don't. Okay, your chart is going to be. Fuck it. No, I don't even want to change my colors. Because this is perfect for me. Your chart is going to show green and red. My chart shows blue and purple. Why does it show that? Because those are my favorite colors, and I fucking love how my chart looks afterwards when candles print. Anyways, when you first open up your chart, you're going to go ahead and see a green candle and a red candle. What I first want you to go ahead and do is get used to one candle at a time. So we're gonna go ahead and start off with a green candle, just because this one is a big size dick size Drake candle to the upside. When we're looking at a candlestick, first off, why is it called a candlestick? Because if we were to go ahead and take away this bottom wick and just look from this bottom half to the top, including the top wick, wouldn't you say that looks like a fucking candle? Yeah. So again, I mean, there's more reasons to why we use candlesticks in the market, because back then in the day we had to use actual candlesticks to determine time, and that was the only way that we could determine when shit was done or how time progressed. Now that we're in electronic age, we pretty much transferred over the exact same mindset, but just in market form. So to get back on track, when we look at a candlestick, period, we're going to have a body. Sometimes it's going to be big, sometimes it's going to be small, but regardless, there's going to be a body, there's going to be a wick to the upside, and a wick to the downside. Everything in its entirety matters. I know it just looks fucking stupid, it looks plain, it looks like it doesn't matter, but I promise you, within this time, there's a lot of data to be had, a lot of information, a lot of conversations to be had within this candlestick, and within every candlestick that you see. My job right now is to break down the candlestick in fine detail, so that way when you look at candlesticks, you don't get overwhelmed with, what the fuck is this? You already know, alright, so buyers were more strong in this, sellers were weak in here, yada yada, whatever. But we're gonna get further into that later. Now, right here, like I said, there's a huge body, there could be a small body, but what really does matter is where the body lies when the candle closes. Because if we go back in market replay, we can see, well, it's not going to go ahead and like show me, is it? Hold on. When we're going through, market would go ahead, okay, so market replay isn't necessarily a good example because you just get one candlestick printed, but in real time you'll see the candlestick tick. Our market's closed all the way through right now. Yeah, it's Saturday. Fuck. I wanted to be able to show you an example of the ticks. Maybe I can. Like a proper way of showing ticks. Because let me just get into this so that way I can show you further. This is Forex Replay. Forex Replay is a website that you're able to go ahead and backtest your strategy. So you put a name for it, you put a balance of how much you want to go for it, and then you set the assets. The assets would be the, I don't know why that happened. The assets would be the indexes that you go ahead and trade with. So me personally, I trade with the NASDAQ and the S&P 500. So seeing as those two pairs are the only two pairs that I work with as of right now, but I work with other pairs, but we're solely going to just focus on futures. So we go ahead and just put a date in. We'll go to last month, Monday, and then we'll just auto click it so that way we're not going through some bullshit. And then after you go ahead and set in your information, you're set with the market that you went ahead and applied the month to. So what you see now is everything from, I think, last month I set it to. You want to come up here. If you don't want to see the volume, you come over here to your left hand side. It's going to bring up the options menu. You could either close it out you don't want to delete it all the way, you can just shut it down. Me personally, I'll come all the way to the right, to the trash can, and remove it. And then after that, I'll just make sure everything else is set. After that, we'll go ahead and see how price should be moving within itself. So we'll play it. Now you see every single time this moves, you see how this ticks? Now watch how this candlestick closes. This is what I'm trying to get at. When you're in real market time, price will go as slow as this, but what we're trying to pay attention to is how the candle prints within this hour. Within the hour, price, the body of the candle will be moving up and down with price. The body of the candle will be moving up and down with price until the body closes, until the close of the candle. And then we're just going to speed this up because it's going a little bit too slow for my liking. We're going to see how this prints. And you just watch how this candle is going ahead and moving up and down. And you see how it closes? This big body right here closes with a small wick at the top, small wick to the bottom. That is indicating, that right there is telling me right now that sellers are more in the market, but that's not necessarily in control because we have such a big, strong trend up. Nonetheless, when the candle is in activation for printing, price will move the candle body up and down. The body of the candle will close wherever price closed it. The body of the price will go ahead and close wherever the fuck the price of that time had closed it. So price closed it all the way up here. Right? Yeah, price closed it all the way down here. Sorry, because it's a down candle. Price closed it all the way down here, giving us a small wick to the top, small wick to the bottom. And then we could go ahead and apply that same concept to the green candle. You just watch it play out. You see how price moves the body every single hour. And you could just watch where it closes. We have a chance of this candle closing red. We have a so the candle closed red or green, but nonetheless, price closed down here, giving us a gigantic wick to the top, semi wick to the bottom. But nonetheless, you can see how price within itself will go ahead and move. So, at the end of the day, that's essentially how we see where price lies at the end of either the hour, 15-minute, 5-minute, or whatever. Within that time, we're gathering information within that candlestick. Not only are we paying attention to this candlestick, but we're paying attention to other prior candlesticks that have also formed. Why? Because other candlesticks that have formed, all this is giving us general information on what the fuck could possibly happen. I say that because, well, we're not going to get deeper. We're not going to get deeper. Just know that all this is just information to be had. We need to be able to have the understanding and comprehend, or the more of the comprehension side of putting past data and future data together to be able to come up with a bias to understand where the fuck this is going to go. Does that make sense? Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. I really hope that makes sense. So at the end of the day, you're going to go ahead and have a green candle and a red candle within any given time of the hour. Let's go back to FX replay. You'll have prior data going ahead and being printed. How do you tell if there is enough data to be had? Well, first off and foremost, let's bleed over into what trends are. Let's just bleed over into what trends are. We'll start off with the high. We'll start off with the upside just because it's easier to go ahead and read. So, if we're looking for an uptrend, we're looking for higher highs. If we're looking for a high to be made and a higher high, high, and then let's see if a higher high gets made after that. To confirm that price is looking to go up. Move on to the hour. See if it makes another higher high. Yep. So as you can see, high, higher high, high, higher high, high, higher high, high, higher high, high, higher high. What is this indicating? That it's an uptrend. Because we got highs, higher highs, highs, higher highs, all being created within this uptrend. How do we know what a downtrend is? Well, we have lows, lower lows, lows, lower lows, lows. Well, we have a low, and then we have a lower low. All this is indicating that this is going to be a downtrend. But what signifies there to be a flip would be a break of structure. We need a break of structure to the upside to indicate that price is done looking to go further down and wanting to go further up. And what do you see here? We get that break of structure leading to the upside. But that's not where we are. Where we are is showing you candlesticks, highs, lows, and trends. So right now we just got over trends. Trends are just lower lows, lower lows, lower lows being created in the market to signify there's a downtrend. And then we got highs, higher highs, highs, higher highs, highs, higher highs being made. And now, how do we know that there is highs and lows? Like, how do we tell what are highs and lows? Because if you're just looking at this and say, well, yeah, we got highs right here, we have highs right here, we have highs right here, we have highs right here. If you would have said majority of that like this is, if you would have said this is the high, this is the high, actually no, we're not using that. If you would have said this is the high, if you would have said this is the high, you would have been right. Why? Because you had been paying attention to my prior videos and understand what higher highs are. But we're going to just break this down into simpler form. So we're going to look at the upside. If we're looking for the highs, we're looking for two candlestick closures to happen. We're looking for a green candle and a red candle to form. After that, we're looking at the top wicks. This is why it's important to understand what candlesticks are, because without understanding what candlesticks are, we're not going to be able to understand where the highs and lows lie. So now that we understand what candlesticks are, we can move on to fucking highs and lows. Highs are determined by a green candle and a red candle. We're now, instead of looking at the bodies, we're looking at the top wicks. For highs, we're looking at the top wicks to be had. So, as we can see, we have two wicks. Our job is to determine which two wicks are the highest points. Well, there's only going to be one, so right now this is the highest point of these two candlesticks wicks, which in turn makes this the high for this candlestick. Moving on over here, we can see that this candlestick's wick, or we got a green candle and a red candle. Looking at the top wicks, we have this candlestick's wick and this candlestick's wick. Which two wicks are the highest points? If you said this candlestick's wick, I think your mom might have dropped you a few fucking times. But this right here would have been the actual high. It's okay. I was dropped a few times too. It's alright. But after a while of just understanding what the fuck this is over and over and over again, finally got the understanding. Now, if we look at this high and we look at this low, are we looking at the bodies to determine where the highs lie with these two candlesticks? No, we are not. We're looking at the top wicks. We have this wick down here, and then we have this wick up here. Which two candlesticks wicks are the highest wicks of these two? This one. So, therefore, this is the highest point for these two candlesticks. We're going to do two more. Now, we got a green candle, and we got another green candle. Look at that, we got a high, right? If you motherfuckers said yes, special. Fucking special. No, this necessarily wouldn't be the high, just because we got a green candle and another green candle. The only time that we would necessarily use this kind of setup... Okay, so I can't talk shit. If you would have said that this was going to be the high, you would be semi-right. Semi-right, but not in this context. If, and only motherfucking if, there is not a high to be had on a 1 hour time frame for your session, you're going into the 30-minute time frame to see where that high lies. So we're here in the hourly, we're here. We can see that we don't have a high right here. We don't have we don't have a red candle right here, but we have a green candle. That would be the high for the 30-minute, right? Lies! I lied to you. I'm sorry. Going to the hourly, the highest point of that one would have been right here. Go to the 30, and we can see we got the green candle, and then we got the red candle. Highest 2 points of those two said wicks would have been this one. And only if we don't have a fucking session high to be had, to be shown, we jump into the 30-minute to be seen a high or low to be had. Boom. Alright, that's only, like, that rule is only if you don't have a fucking high for your hour. But that is advanced concepts for later on that you guys don't need to be applying right now. Only thing that you guys need to really understand is what the fuck is a high and what the fuck is a low. Alright, let's move on. So we're gonna do one more. We have this high, we have this low, this low, haha. We have this green candle, we have this red candle, we have two gigantic ass wicks at the top. But we only have one of those wicks to be higher than the other one. Which two said wicks are the highest points? That one. That is how you find highs and lows, or how you find highs. Let's move on to lows. Alright, so with the basic understanding of a high and a low need to be a two candlestick structure and closure, you need both of those things to close and print to be shown. Now that we're looking at the downside, with the understanding that it needs two candlestick closures to make the high and low. Now that we're looking at the low, with the understanding of we need to look at the candlestick's wicks, the difference between the high and the low is that when you're looking for the high, you're looking at the top wicks of the candlesticks. When you're looking for the low, you're looking at the bottom wicks. That's the difference. That is the only difference. That is the only difference. For the high, you're looking at the top wicks. For the low, you're looking for the bottom wicks. So, we got a red candle, we got a green candle. Boom. These two candlesticks print. If we're looking for the low of these two candlesticks wicks, where is the low from these two? That would have been right there. And then same over here, red candle, green candle, these two wicks. Where's the lowest 2 points of these two wicks? That's the low for that candle. And then if we go over here, red candle, green candle, we look at the bottom wicks, we could see that this doesn't have a wick at all. The green candle doesn't have a wick at all, but the red candle does. What does that show? A down. Got a low right here. Bada bing, bada boom. It's very simple, but the simplicity stops at where you need to start applying it properly. What I would like you guys to do, if there are people watching this one day, go ahead and just practice 10 times. Highs and lows. Altogether, you should have a 20 answer markup to be shown. After that, you would be able to run, well, once you start practicing consistently, you'll be able to run through and determine where the highs and lows are like this. Very, without even like second guessing it. We'll even go somewhere where we haven't even tried. So you're like, no, this motherfucker is marking up shit he already did. Pause. I've done this so much that I don't even need to like second guess it. I could just see it and go. See it and go. See it and go. See it, go. Let me change these colors so that way they don't look like they're there to the downside. I don't confuse you guys. Like one day I would like you guys to go ahead and be as even as that. Okay, so this right here actually brings me to a very good example. Or is it this one? Are you equal? No. At times, you might find yourself finding a high and a low, a high candle and a low candle's wicks at even points. What you're doing at that time, I'm trying to see if I could find a good example for you. But it's really rare that that happens. It's really rare when you have an equal high to be had, or hell, even an equal low. But when you have equal highs or equal lows, what you're doing is just marking out the next low to be had, because then it's still the high to be made. You still need to mark out the high and low properly if that happens. Right here. Damn, that's not equal. It might look equal when you're zoomed out. Might look equal when you're zoomed out, but when you zoom back in, you could see finer details to it. That's another thing what I would like you guys to go ahead and get used to. Get used to moving the side up and down and your scroll wheel left and right. You're moving your scroll wheel left and right to shrink the screen. You're going to your right side to go ahead and, or you're going to your right side to minimize the screen up and down or to extend it. You're changing the width of the screen when you go ahead and move your scroll wheel up and down. You will go ahead and be doing that religiously when it comes to this. So it's best that you get really comfortable with that. It's not going to be natural at first. It's, to some it might. If you're used to shit like that, then the concept would be easier for you to understand. But for somebody that is brand new, you're probably looking at this and like, how do I zoom out? How do I zoom in? Well, you zoom out and zoom in on the left hand side, just click and hold, or you can use your scroll wheel, or if you want to change the width, just point your mouse on the screen where your chart is. Anywhere where the chart is, you can point it over here and move it up and down. You can point it over here and move it up and down. Or if you don't want to do this, you can come down here and turn your scroll wheel to change the width. So here you could change the height, here you could change the width. If you don't want to change the width here, you could just move your mouse on the screen and do this. Me personally, I find it more comfortable to just drag my shit here, change the width on screen, and then change the height if needed to determine, just to see more data. Hopefully that was enough for you guys. Hopefully that was enough information, because that's all that I want to really go through today was just highs and lows and market trend. And that was, what else? Highs, lows. Fuck, there was something else. Jeez. Let me go back to the title. Candlesticks. Yeah, so we went over candlesticks, we went over what highs and lows are, and on top of that we bled over into candle market structure in a little bit. Cool. Hopefully that was inspiring, hopefully that was educational. Thank you guys for stopping by. We'll continue on with day 3 tomorrow. Day 3 would be, we already did trend, so we'll do liquidity tomorrow. Alright guys, love yous, bye.